Drive a right-winger crazy. Help build a home of progressives by becoming a TYT member. Click the link in the description box below.
Lou Dobbs is both a ridiculous figure and also kind of a dangerous guy. And in this video, we're gonna show you both. First, to have a little bit of fun, here he is talking about the migrant caravan working its way through Mexico.
And our top story tonight, the caravan of mostly Central American immigrants is now in the Mexican city of Oaxaca tonight, where...
Hold on, Lou, I didn't quite catch that. Can we play this next one actually and see what he was going for there?
Mexican city of Iadarola.
Now I got a full credit to Seth Meyers and Late Night with Seth Meyers. A closer look. That's where I saw this the first time. Oh my God, it was funny. I must have played it 25 times.
See, look, I don't speak Spanish. Is that a place?
Well, also it's
No,
not
it's
just.
not a place.
It's not. Look, man, I have trouble with French. Right, there are French words I really have trouble saying. But first of all, that's different. It just is.
Yes.
Like you can see his pain. It's so great.
But I think the pain, look, I've mispronounced things and I will continue to, that's my right. I think the pain has a little bit less to do with his obvious unfamiliarity with and distaste for Spanish, and more to do with that, as we always say, these are robots that sit down in front of a teleprompter and expect that their talent that they have is that they can read off the teleprompter. But he doesn't know that word and he doesn't read the script probably, so when it just pops up, he was like one line above it, didn't know that he was heading off a cliff, and then he sees it and he's like, whoa.
I'm looking for it. Ever since I've heard it, I've been thinking,
I couldn't
which
find
one
it.
is it?
I couldn't find it. I started with Guadalajara, right?
We have landed on Oaxaca.
Acapulco.
Seth Meyers said that he was trying to say Mexico City, which I think was a joke.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But before you, because Lou Dobbs was an executive vice president at CNN from its inception on until he left. He left once, he came back, and then he left in 2009 finally, and then resurfaced about a year later at Fox Business, where that show is. He should go live, by the way. He should do the show from. He could fly right into. He could fly into the international airport. So you're right. It is in a sense, but he is. I mean, he owns that show, so he's not just the mouthpiece of that show. I don't know. I doubt he writes it. Obviously, you're correct that he hadn't read it over, or you'd think he would have had a closer idea of what to say, but. He grew further and further to the right. He's now a big Trump cheerleader. He's a disgrace to America and a threat to the institutions which have protected us for 240 years. He's also just this huge fraud, because I know you didn't want to do this, but we're going to do it anyway because they have it. So when he left CNN in 2009, he looked like a distinguished guy whose hair had turned white, right? Do we have the photos? I think we do. So when he left in 2009, that's what he looked like.
Whoa.
He shouldn't be, that looks good,
Mike
right?
Pence.
Right, that's nothing wrong. And now, he looks like this. I mean, come on, man.
Look, I get, I feel bad.
I now understand that I think the color he was going, he went into the beautician and he was like, look, I'd like, if you could dye my hair and turn it into, I'd like it to be a, and they were like, I don't know what that means. Red?
Nobody wants, I get that you don't want to go gray or whatever, but your face ages. Your hair has to age a little bit. Look, man, it can't be moving in the opposite direction.
I'm not saying I'm never gonna dye my hair either, by the way, right now I don't. But if your hair turn, no, I don't. But if you see your hair on television, right? If it turns white on TV, well, man, the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, it's too late at that point.
We know.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Now, as I alluded to, he is not just a buffoon, he's also a dangerous guy. By the way, there was a little bit of that in that clip. I don't know if you caught it, but where he said mostly Central Americans. Now, look, it is possible that he is making this very nuanced differentiation between people from Mexico, Central America, South America. Maybe that's what he means. Maybe he's trying to imply that there's Middle Easterners in that caravan. I think with him in particular, we don't need to give him too much credit, but it goes beyond that. In tweets that he has since deleted, he was, let's say, not buying the whole domestic terrorism thing yesterday and today. So he said this on Lou Dobbs Tonight, this is yesterday. I'll take up why FBI and ATF hasn't informed the public about contents of suspicious packages, whether hoax or bombs. They were clearly designed to influence election. Why? I like to think that he asked, why am I writing this? This is absurd. He then went on to, like, that's complicated. You gotta read multiple sentences, there's punctuation and stuff. Then he just says, fake news, fake bombs. Who could possibly benefit by so much fakery?
Look, he's running the show and he's using MAGA.
He's using hashtag MAGA. Then let's see, he goes on. Fake news has just successfully changed the narrative from the onslaught of illegal immigrants and broken border security to suspicious packages. Let's get back to left-wing driven caravans and the Dims who encourage them. So again, just the
hold on. I mean, I'm sorry. Can you put that tweet back up real quick?
The last tweet.
Last tweet for fake news has just successfully changed the narrative. No. You guys made up the narrative, right? I mean, I'm not saying the caravan doesn't deserve some news coverage.
Not for the reasons they're covering it, I would say.
But they totally created this coverage. They decided, I mean, Fox News decides every day what to cover. And as Jonathan Larson, the head of TYT Investigates, would point out, how you cover something is less important than the decisions you make about what to cover, right? And then how you cover it, of course, matters too. And what Fox does is deciding this is what the thing is. And they manage to change the narrative. That's what they do all the time, and that's what the mainstream media makes the mistake in doing by paying attention to Fox News, by keeping Fox News on in their newsrooms across the country. And in their defense, eventually, you feel like, all right, well, half the country's talking about it. You fall into this idea that half the country is talking about it. But they set that agenda and then they amplify it by bringing on a different guest each day to say something new about it, right? So the story keeps growing and keeps amplifying.
So how is it somehow the fake news found a way to make the pipe bombs in 10 different packages sent across the country? Who made that story so okay? Which part of the fake news sent out 10 pipe bombs? Like, how does the structure of that thought doesn't even make any sense? So because the caravan is such bad news for libs, somehow the fake news put together 10 pipe bombs to send to a bunch of more libs to change the narrative. That they didn't make the news. It happened. Were we saying it didn't happen? Are those things invisible? Is this virtual reality that we're dealing with? Because they happened. They're there.
I mean, if this is the deep state and corrupt Dems, I mean, once again, Dims, corrupt Dims. That's actually a little clever.
It's not new.
It's
not even new.
Is that? I've not seen it.
No, I've seen it. It's a regular.
Once again, then we've managed to orchestrate 10 fake bombs, right? But we couldn't swing 38,000 votes. You know,
couldn't do it.
We got 3 million more votes than your guy, right?
Did they send any bombs to Wisconsin?
Right.
Didn't think of it.
Yeah, George Soros. So George Soros put that bomb in his own mailbox.
Yeah, it was a risky move. Yeah, this is their TV show. This isn't CRTV or YouTube. This is a TV show that gets millions of dollars spent on it. And he just says left-wing driven caravans. Is there any evidence after 2 weeks of them covering it that the left wing is involved at all in what apparently is another spontaneous caravan of the sort that has existed for literally years, if not decades? No, but he can just say it, even though he's paid millions of dollars and he's considered reputable by some people. The Dims who encourage them. And I don't think he's saying that the media sent it. I think what he's saying is stupider. He's saying that the media, in covering it at all, is helping to change the narrative. They should have been able to see that obviously these 10 bombs are fake, as he does, and they shouldn't have covered it. That is absurd, and it's great projection too. Like, only in a place like Fox News that actually does coordinate their message across multiple shows could all of these other places at CNN and MSNBC have chosen together not to cover it or to cover it. He actually thinks that other media outlets work the way that Fox News does. But as he said, fake news, fake bombs, now that is just accepted. Go on Twitter, go on Reddit, all that, right wingers just accept it. Let's bring up this picture. This was outside of the Senate debate in Florida, fake news, fake bombs. So they just accept, yep. And again, I sort of said this at the outset, and I know we don't have much more time, but we have come to accept, we have normalized so much in this country. If in 10 years ago, there had been a bomb sent to the former VP, that would have been the biggest news story for 1 to 3 weeks. It's 10 in the last day, and instantly it was fake. Instantly, it was a distraction and a hoax and a false flag, not just on some conspiracy theorist show, but on the biggest right-wing media outlet on the planet. Instantly, it was fake. And we've just accepted it. And a significant portion of the country is saying, I don't care. I don't believe that it's true, but even if it was true, even if they tried to assassinate the former president, the former Secretary of State, former senators, former VP, a sitting congresswoman, a celebrity, a billionaire, simultaneously, I don't care. That is America.
And sadly, they don't care. But at the same time, if there's a news article that's well sourced and written about something that's actually happening in Washington D.C. that implicates somebody that they're supporting, their president, oh, they are crying. But 10 pipe bombs sent in the mail. Oh, why are they getting so excited? What are they covering this for?
Do you
but somehow
remember?
they're upset about coverage about real things that are happening. That's what they're crying about.
Imagine if we were able to coordinate in 10 cities across the country. Random people threw 10 glasses of water on 10 right-wing pundits. They'd blow up. Like they took Tommy Lauren getting soaked a bit 10 times more seriously than what might be the largest coordinated attempt at domestic terrorism in the last decade. At least, I don't remember. I mean, there's been attempted abortion bombing, abortion clinic bombings, but this many simultaneously, and they can't even pretend to care.
Let me tell you something about liberals. I have never successfully dialed in to a conference call on my first try. And I don't think any others have either. Because they give you the code, but the code is on your phone and you gotta dial the number and you gotta look back and get the code and it's like, okay. And you're like, yeah, 237-985-143 pound, 287-943-185 pound.
Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.